What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of Market Marauders. Be the market one trade at a time. First things first, smash that subscribe button down below. Like, comment, share. So let's dive into it. Today we're talking about Tesla. So if you guys been following Tesla, just had a crazy week, like a crazy week, uh, previously. So if we look at them currently, they're at 47. No, they're at 748.07. So they're well above their moving average 50 and well above their moving average 200. Moving average 50 is 478.45. Moving average 200 is 304.63. Now, if we look at this chart, it just shows the crazy growth of the company in the past, like 3 months. So let's dive into the chart. So this is the peak that the crazy peak that everyone's talking about. So if we look, it started off at 694. Even let's go even further than that. If we look at the 1 month chart, it just had its small peak and then it go down. Then it had a small peak and then it'll go down, a small peak. But then this one, it just shot up like crazy. It went all the way up to 960, like 965, and this was like in the span of 1 day. This was like almost 2 days. I'd say give it 2 days. So on the first day, it kind of rallied up to around 767, and then it just shot up all the way to the next day to 963 or 900, yeah, about 963. So for you people who are just starting out, um, and want to get invested into Tesla, or want to get it invested in general, just look at this chart, as this is not normal. This is an anomaly. Essentially, this is lightning striking. So you know I would not base my future of trading all stocks based on this one pattern, because this never happens. Sorry to burst your bubble for you guys out there who are like, oh, I'm going to get into trading because, if Tesla did it once, it'll do it again. That is very wishful thinking. And, you know, if you caught this wave and you rode it and you got your profits out of it, then congrats for you. But the likelihood of that wave coming again, I do not see it in any time in the future. And I'll give my basically analysis on that. If we look down, around January 20th, um, this is like a 3 day span of growth. So you have a 3 day span of growth from 478 to what this peak is 544. So that's like, about $100 growth in the span of 3 days. So then you go to another lull. You got 504, peaked up at 590. So, that's another peak of growth. Then you have another peak. It goes from 574 to 645. This is in the span of like 3 days. So there's these 3 day trends. If you look at the overall picture of the chart, these 3 day trends of growth. But what happened here? This is not normal. So I just want you guys to know out there who are new to trading, who are like, I'm gonna jump into Tesla and I'm gonna make a whole bunch of money. That's not the way it's gonna work. And this was an anomaly. So, you know, will Tesla be a good company in the long term? Yes, I do believe it'll be a good company in the long term. I think it could get up to this price, or even further than this price, to even like the 1,000 something dollars. But will it grow this dramatically again? I do not foresee it. Now I may be wrong, because I'm just giving my my honest opinion, but in all the times that I've been trading stocks, and by far I'm not the best, when it comes to making analysis or, uh, trading stocks. Um, but I've never seen a chart like this. So for you people who are jumping in and are like, I'm going to buy a bunch of Tesla stocks or I buy a bunch of Tesla options, and it's going to jump back up to 1,000 and I'm going to sell them and I'm going to be rich. I just do not see that happening. So, um, but you people who did catch it, and were selling options and were, making trades, uh, and did, cashed out and made your money, congrats to you all, uh, because it definitely was, a legendary moment in stock market history, in my opinion. Uh, so, you know, why this is for those people who want to go and, see why should I invest in Tesla, or does it really have any long-term value, or, you know, is there a way we can see lightning striking again? This run up, I'll tell you, was built off of a couple of things. There was the earnings came out, so that kind of began the whole, snowball effect of what happened here. So the earnings happened, and then, shortly after the earnings happened, it kind of went up from that. But then it was like a lot of people were rallying around after the earnings came, because the earnings kind of solidified, hey, this company is doing well. But then it was like after that, it just went up randomly. So, you know, Elon Musk had released a song, uh, which I didn't think had anything to do with the price going up, but, some people may buy it based on that. And, there was also a lot of negative talk about the company. So, you know, there may have been a lot of market manipulation going on when it comes to this stock. People were just buying because they knew, basically a lot of millennials are going to buy this stock, and they're not going to really have it for long term. So those things combined, I feel like a lot of people came and bought the company knowing that it was going to go back down again. And there were also talks on, CSNBC of, there's going to be a bubble, and the bubble's going to, burst, which it did. But, you know, all those things combined, I think, helped to lead to, um, this whole trend of going upward. So, you know, that's what I think happened. And for all those things combined, I don't see that happening again. Um, so I think it's going to go back up, but I don't think it's going to go back up as drastically as it did in this run up. Now, I may be wrong. I may be wrong, but that's just my honest opinion. So, for those people who are new to the stock, let's go back to where this all began with the earnings. So, if we look at their earnings, we can see that Model S and Model X production increased 10% quarter over quarter, and it went from 16,318 to 17,933 for quarter over quarter. It also increased 9%, so it went from 79,837 to 86,958. So these two production numbers increases, a pretty good thing. And I think this is also due to the fact of the Shanghai factory. So the Shanghai factory opened up at the beginning of the year, like around January, or I think January 1st, and then started producing cars. So it helped, it's going to help this metric, or it's in the long term, this metric is going to continue to go up. So, Model S and Model X deliveries, so that increased 11% quarter over quarter, from 17,483 to 19,475, and then of which subject to least accounting. So uh, that increased 8% from 2,588 to 2,807. Model 3 deliveries also increased 16% from 79,703 to 92,602, 620. And then Model 3, of which subject to lease accounting, that actually went down 7%. So quarter over quarter, it went down from 64.98 to 60.41. Now, they also don't do just cars. They have solar panels and solar charging. So for solar charge stations, that increased 10% year over year. So from 1653 to 1821, and for quarter over quarter, and then for year over year, it increased 28% from 1421 to 1821. And then if you go to supercharger connectors, that increased 10% quarter over quarter from 14,658 to 16,104. And then also year over year, it increased 34% from 12,002 to 16,104. So pretty good numbers, in my opinion, which to me started the whole snowball effect of growth in the stock price. It was a good metric to look at when considering investing. So when the earnings came out, it was around 500 ish, like high 500s, before it shot all the way up to where it's at. So still some good growth, even though it's at the 700 something range. From 500 and something to where it's at now, it's still pretty significant growth from its earnings. So if we look at the production numbers, uh, we'll go to the Shanghai factory. It says they have 150,000 Model 3s in production, but they don't have a number for Model Y. So the Shanghai factory is producing Model 3s and Model Ys. So I think once they start their processes rolling and they become more mature as a factory, that it's going to help the company in deliveries and in production. Um, Now I read an article today about um, the factory had been shut down, but they're opening up on Monday. So the 10th of February. Yep, that's Monday. They'll be opening back up and starting production again, which is always a good thing. Um, Now, what that article does to the actual stock price, I don't know. It may rally based on that news that production is coming back up, but who knows? Production from the one factory, slowing down because of the coronavirus in China, and the price, the factory starting back up again. I don't know how much of an effect that'll have in overall stock price, but we'll see come opener on Monday how much of an effect that will take. They haven't began building the Berlin factory yet, but it's in the works, and I think once the Berlin factory is open, that their production is just going to shoot through the roof, and they're going to continue to make these vehicles at a high rate, uh, and the more orders will be fulfilled. I feel like it's going to get to a point where they're at par with the amount of cars they're producing and the amount of cars that they're selling. So I think both of those will level out. But at the current moment, they have more demand than they have supply. So the more supply they can get, the better off they'll be from a revenue point of view. And I think having a factory in Berlin or someplace overseas in Europe will definitely help with fulfilling those orders instead of shipping them from U.S. or from Shanghai somewhere. Having that factory directly there will definitely help fulfill those orders and will help solidify the company's revenue as being these crazy evaluations that people are giving it. So diving into this is my portfolio on Robinhood. It was definitely some good weeks. I definitely took advantage of those that stock movement, that stock action. Uh, so just showing you guys that I do invest in the companies that I'm talking about, make videos about. So going to the history of Tesla from my account. So I had, there's a lot of cancels on here because it's pretty crazy. Uh, I do have two current calls out for combined. for 2070. Uh, so those are the two calls that I have out there. They're not doing too good, but that's just because I bought them right at the hype of everything. But I did take advantage of some good ones. So if we go down here, I had one call that I bought for a strike price of 710 at 194, and then I had one that I bought for 104 for a strike price of 740. So I sold the 741 uh, for 120, made a small profit from that. Uh, that was 104, and then for my 710 call, I bought for 194, uh, and I actually sold that one for 6,500. So pretty profitable day. One contract that I bought for 194, during all the crazy, price action, actually got to that value of 6,500. So that just basically shows, you guys don't need a whole bunch of money when it comes to selling. This is under $200, and made me over excess of 5,000, basically in profit. And that's not the most that it actually was. So it continued to go up even after that. Because if you guys know, on the fourth, it went crazy. But I sold mine, got out. I was happy with that. Anybody would be happy with that. Um, so for an older contract that I had in Tesla, bought two contracts for 144, and sold them both combined for 1320. So there are profits to be made out here. If you look at all of my contracts that I buy, they're all under $200. So I mean, if we're saying these are all $200, basically $600 was spent. Uh, Essentially. And 13, 20, and 13, 20, 120, and 6,500 basically have been the profits on that. So there's money to be made out here when it comes to trading options. If you guys um, want to trade options, I use Robinhood platform because it's the one that makes most sense to me. um, but I do suggest that there are two other ones. There's Webull and there's Tastyworks. So those two are very popular with a lot of people that I've seen online. They use those. I personally don't use those. I use Robinhood. So if you guys want to start option trading with Robinhood, I have a link down below where you guys can sign up for Robinhood. If you do, I'll get a free stock and you get a free stock. And then you just go through the process of signing up for options. It'll be in your account settings and it'll ask you to sign up for options. Excuse me. But then you sign up for those options and then you'll be able to start trading options. The turnaround process on that application for me was like almost instant. So I signed up for it. I think like 2 or 3 minutes later I was approved and then I was able to sell options. So there's money to be made, selling and trading options, and it's way faster money than just selling the stock and holding the stock. So you know I would always say start off small. If you guys saw $200 a week or $200 a month, even, you know, start off small and it can yield to really high gains in the future. And then also, don't get too greedy. Try to cut your losses uh, if you have losses, and try to get your profits when you can. I know when you guys first start getting into trading options, it's going to be so tempting to be like, hey, it's going up. I got all this money, but I think I can get more. It's very easy to do. Hardest thing is control your emotions. Try to realistically see, hey, you got profits, so collect those profits, because it goes up really fast and it can go down equally as fast, and just keeping a level head about where your trades are at is the most important part. And well, is the second most important part, but the most important part is learning from each trade that you do. So go online, read the articles, read earnings, get as many updates as you can about the company, look at videos online on YouTube, talk to people about it, get their opinion about it, and then also, do all that stuff before you jump into a trade, because, the more information that you have, the more advantage you have. It's basically a competition in the stock market. To say that you're gonna believe that something is gonna do what you said it's gonna do, because on the other end, there's always someone who's betting the opposite is gonna happen. So if you believe that the stock's gonna go up, there's always someone who's betting the stock's gonna go down. So one of you is gonna be right, but the more information that you have, the better you can make that decision. Secondly, I would say start with your price point. So always have a target price point on what you're willing to spend to go into a stock. So don't go and be like, hey, I just got my check. I'm gonna take half of my check and I'll put it in the stock market, because it's not gonna turn out the way that you think it's gonna turn out. You're not gonna quadruple that money overnight. Um, I would say set a budget. It's the best thing to do. $50 a check, $10 a check, $5 a check, uh, and put that towards investing. And then if you make money, learn from that. If you lose money, learn from that. But the best thing to do is to always learn from whatever mistake or whatever good trade that you made, so that you can duplicate that. That's always the goal, is to make more money. And the only way you can do that is by, getting as much information as possible and learning from trading. So good luck to you guys out there. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below, like, comment, share, and I'll see you guys next time.